What up, guys? Review number 16 here for the last year's 31 Days of Horror. We're moving on to Jigsaw from the year 2017. I remember when this came out, went to the theater and saw it, and I was like really happy with it. I thought that it was pretty fun. And watching it again, I do think that it's pretty fun, but I definitely see like some of the problems that people had with it. This one feels more like a spin-off or like a soft reboot to the series a little bit. And it's kind of disappointing based on where Saw 7 ended that there's still those loose strings that we didn't get tightened up. So, Jigsaw. It starts out with this guy who is basically being chased by the police on a roof. They shoot off his hand after he pushes this button, and then we see that there's some traps that have started with a bunch of people chained up with buckets on their head and saw blades against the wall, and these chains are pulling them towards the wall, and they have to basically cut themselves in order to get released. There's one body that's like sleeping and didn't wake up like the rest of them. Then afterwards they're open into this barn, and there's more traps, and you find out like the backstories between all these people, what reasons they're in the saw traps, and that whole thing plays out. Different traps, stuff around the leg, grain silo, all kind of stuff. And then also going on outside of that is the police investigation with some new characters like this Logan guy and some other people trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because there's Jigsaw bodies popping up, and as you know, Jigsaw has been dead for like 10 years is what they say. So you're trying to figure out the whole time, like, okay, who's doing this? Is it Hoffman? Is John Kramer somehow still alive? You don't really know, and then you kind of find it's all kind of revealed in the end, which I did think was like pretty effective, but also opens up a lot of doors for plot holes, especially since we're added to another character who was like there the whole time type thing, which has happened multiple times in this series. I do like the idea that like it's almost like, and they say it in the movie, like Jigsaw will live on through his followers, basically. And there is a whole, you could make like a whole series out of like this series can never end, because you can just keep making new killers, similar to like the Scream series, I guess. But it's kind of interesting because like Jigsaw is almost like this cult status, like notorious like serial killer icon at this point in the series, which is also resembles like real life and how we celebrate the Saw movies. So they don't really go deep into that, but I think they could in a future Saw film, which I thought is like what maybe Spiral was going to do, but it didn't really do that. I think that this movie looks like good. It's very polished and has like a much better like updated look to it than especially coming after Saw 7, which was like really sort of like crappy looking in terms of like the visuals, even though like the traps and stuff were semi decent. But Jigsaw, to me this is like, it doesn't add much to the story. It kind of takes away from the story a little bit, but I think it's fun, and that's what I like the most about Jigsaw, is that it's fun. The traps are cool. I like the location. The story gets a bit messy, and it is convoluted, but they all are at this point, so it's really not the biggest deal in the world. There's a little bit of rough CGI in one or two scenes, but I think that the look of the movie's a big step up, and it was at a time where I think it had been like 7 years from the previous Saw film, and to sort of just like go back in that world, although it wasn't perfect and there was things that they didn't continue with the series. from Saw 7. I think that the overall just fun nature of seeing another Saw movie after 7 years was cool. So definitely not the best in the series, definitely on the lower end of the series, but I think it is a fun movie, and that's, at the end of the day, what I want out of a Saw film, even though I do like the crazy convoluted soap opera plots that we get throughout the series. But yeah, it was not the direction that fans wanted, but I think it was a nice like holdover, since we hadn't had a Saw film in 7 years. So Jigsaw, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's better than Saw 7, but not great in terms of story. So that is Jigsaw from 2017. All right, with that said, we'll see you with the next one. Peace.